Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hole in One Show podcast. I'm your host, Dave Schultz. This is the second episode of a 6-episode series highlighting the Hole in One Show, highlighting regional golf, amateur golf, professional golf, and on today's show, some member guest action. It is member guest season around the country, and I was fortunate enough to play in a member guest with my best buddy from college, Reeves Dalton, out in Leland, Michigan, this past weekend. And as you would imagine, all member guest tournaments are chock full of stories after you get through it. So we've got Reeves Dalton is our guest in the second segment, as well as Aaron Caverley, the head pro at the Leland Country Club. So that's going to be a lot of fun in the second segment. But right now, we'd like to welcome in the Club Challenge winner. He played for Moorhead Country Club, Taylor Hruby.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave. I sure appreciate you having me
today. Hey, thanks for being on the show. You earned it. Yeah. Let's talk about your show. This was the Club Challenge show. It's one of the fan favorites. We pit a country club against another country club. And last year we had Moorhead Country Club against Fargo Country Club, and Moorhead won. And so they returned, and they had a chance to play Oxbow this year. And it was your team came out on top. Let's talk about your experience on the Hole in One show.
Yeah, it's actually pretty funny. I'm not sure if you were aware of this, but I was the second fill-in. So I was actually alerted about 25 minutes before the show.
Yeah.
Told to come on out to Mapleton, get on my horse and get out there. I was actually playing Moorhead that morning.
Sixth man of the year.
Yeah, exactly. So Chris gave me a call and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm on 16." And he said, "Well, let's get going." So came out. Was familiar with the show. I had tried the qualifier the year before in Moorhead, but didn't really understand what was going on. I showed up, set my bag down, and next thing I knew, we were starting. So I kind of joked with my wife, one of the funniest parts about the show is I didn't know I was going to get interviewed. So
really?
I start to walk up to the tee and just the worst interview you could possibly give. I was so uncomfortable because I'm just thinking the shot.
Yeah.
It's 45-mile-an-hour wind. I'm terrified. I'm just like, how am I going to hit this? And all I'm thinking is this ball's got to get up in the air. And then you're like, let's bring in Taylor Hruby and start talking to me. And I was just like, so I just butchered it. But it was awesome. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
Not a lot of nerves that way. Just kind of got into it hot. So yeah, it was awesome.
Now your family has history in the Hole in One show. Let's touch on that.
Yeah, I was just mentioned before we started here that my old man, probably back in, I would say, early 90s, Trevor Lighty was on the Hole in One show. And I don't think he made it quite as far as I did, so I rubbed that in a little bit. But yeah, he had qualified one time, and I think he was on it maybe twice. So, but he was a big player back similar era, that early 90s time, and played a lot of golf back then.
Now, Moorhead Country Club, you played for your charity of choice, and you won $1,000 of Shields. And remind everybody who you played for and why.
Yeah, so we did a Ronald McDonald House, and the reason that we did that is I have a couple great family friends and friends of mine that have been tremendously supported by that foundation. It's something that I think a lot of people don't really understand what they do for families until you hear about it kind of firsthand.
Took a tour through their facility and what they do. It's incredible.
It's absolutely incredible. Yeah. So I have a couple good buddies. One of them has really had, unfortunately, some extensive use of their service, and couldn't be more proud to represent that, win a little bit of cash for it. It meant a lot.
Yeah, we've got a check presentation coming up at Shields in a couple of Fridays from now, so that'll be great. Let's talk about your background. Where are you from, and what do you do?
Yeah, so I grew up in Wilton, North Dakota, which is right outside of Bismarck. Lived in Fargo now for about 15 years with my wife, and I have two little girls, Anna and Maggie.
How old?
About to be 8 and about to be 4.
I'm in it with you, man. 6, 4, and 3, all girls. We're girl dads.
Yeah, and it's one of the best things in the world.
So good.
We're doing junior golf out at MCC right now, so we had Anna had golf this morning.
Cool.
And just, they do such a great job, but then just watching her start to love the game. I didn't get into the game until, probably my late 20s, where I really started to think this is something I want to do a little more often.
I'm excited about my girls getting into golf because, self-esteem,
absolutely,
raising girls, they got to be strong. They got to have big great self-esteem, and getting them on the golf course and just proud to, put on the clothes and get the clubs on and
without a doubt,
clinking the clubs through the parking lot. There's nothing better.
Yep. And she drained a putt. I got a video on my phone. I put it on my Instagram, and she drained a putt this morning, and she looked like she could rule the world.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Just such a beautiful thing. And I can relate to that feeling, and passing that on to her. has just been awesome. And I hope that's something they continue to do, but it's something that we've been doing a lot of lately.
Now, you touched on Morehead Country Club, your connection there. How long have you been a member?
So this is my 5th year. Joined when we were a little bit of a lull, and we're packed now. So it's pretty cool to see, the growth. We've had a lot of fantastic renovations of the clubhouse. Our parking lot just got done. It's just been awesome to see, just the change in, I don't want to say grinding for members, but it was a different feel. And now it's just busy. The pool's hopping. Yeah. The food's better, and it's been a really cool change.
It's such a fun spot to be at a club, whether it's public or private. It's just fun to be there. People are excited to be there, and it's busy. I mean, that activity, it's fun to be around.
Yeah.
You have a special connection for the Red River Amateur Championship. Talk about that. Biggest amateur tournament in the region. It's televised by WDAY. You guys do a fantastic job, and you play a key role in the event. Why don't you share everybody about that?
Yeah, awesome. I mean, most importantly, WDAY, that really changed the game for us. So I'm on the tournament committee out there for the Red River Am. I have been for 3 years. And kind of the way it started was we wanted to have some live coverage. We set up a live camera on the first tee for that 3 years ago. And they said, somebody's got to kind of man that, figure it out. And then that just kind of grew into me taking a lot of pictures, walking around. I put in probably 36 hours this weekend.
Incredible.
400 pictures. Take all the official stuff, do all the Instagram. Go to our Facebook page, please, like and subscribe to all that. Yeah. But it's just, this year, one of our biggest things is just trying to grow that. Right. Sure. I mean, it's a big priority of ours because it's a big thing for our club. It's a big thing for the game. This year we had over 24 colleges represented in the event, which is awesome.
And amateur golf is, had a lull for a while, as did golf. Yep. And now it's just booming, whether it's TV shows or whether it's having an entire tournament put on TV, junior golf on TV, professional events in the area. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's great for kids to compete and have that nerves and have that platform to show their skills. And that's going to be huge for some kids to be able to have this to show a college golf coach.
Yep. And and really honestly, Dave, one of the coolest things about it is seeing like that camaraderie of like all those NDSU guys.
Yeah.
They were chirping each other or putting up scores and then they were done and they were all hanging out in the parking lot afterwards. And it's just like that golf camaraderie of like, the women's champion Becca Cheddar and Leah Scar, like you could tell that they were competing, but they were so supportive of each other. They were smiling at birdies and like it's just a cool atmosphere and I think that comes through that like relation, like they what they're going through.
Absolutely,
right? You understand that grind. So really cool to see. I got to just shout out. I mentioned Becca, but Dan Elton was our senior champion at 12 over. But Josh Galvin, NDSU player, shoots 14 under par.
He put it in 5th gear and he left it there.
Yeah, won by 10 strokes. I mean,
it was working.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where as a media guy, I'm sitting there thinking like, I could use a little drama, Josh. But then it got to the point where about, the turn on round 3, I was like, just go low.
Yeah.
Just hit it. Like, let's pump this. And I want to see birdies all day. And it was just, I mean, I had the pleasure of following him around, watching him strike the ball. And you could tell he's just one of those kids that once he gets on, it was unmatched. So I had to shout him out.
He's 6th guy on the team, right? 6th guy on the team. So NDSU is a deep team. They are very competitive on the national level. And so when your 6th guy is beating people by 10, 2nd place by 10, that's impressive. So great job on the tournament. The tournament was fantastic. It was obviously a wet event, but you got 54 holes in, and it was solid. And Chris did a great job.
Yeah.
And the grounds crew. I mean, I know that was a lot of work.
Yeah. Big shout out to Ryan, our superintendent, and all the guys. Certainly don't want to start rattling off names because I'll forget somebody, but just watching what goes into that. We get out there at the crack of dawn to make sure everything's right, working the way we want it to. Yeah. And they're out. They've been out there for an hour and a half already, and it's just incredible to see what comes through. Chris Howell, Zach Beal, they're just unbelievable guys. Losing Chris Larson was interesting. I had been out there with him, and Zach has just come in and just done such a great job filling Howell's role, and then Howell, moving up to Larson's role, and it's just been incredible to work with those guys. I feel just a super connection to both of them and the club itself, and it's my pleasure to be able to go out there and help out and kind of donate some of that time and try and get that to be as big as it can, because like you said, golf kind of went through that dip, and we just want to make sure that we're we're doing our part to make sure that Hampshire's have a place to play.
You definitely are. Real quick, what's on tap this summer for you?
Hopefully a lot more golf.
You got to get back on the show, right?
Yeah, yep. I'd love to get back on the show. That's something I mentioned the day before I started here, but I tried to qualify at MCC the year before. Kind of got onto the show by happenstance, being the sixth man, like you mentioned. But love to get back on the show. Just we're doing a little traveling, so try and play some other courses and stuff too. But just hopefully get out with my kids.
That's right.
It's a beautiful thing. My wife's starting to kind of try and maybe get into it because my oldest is starting to pester her a little bit. Mom, you got to get the clubs too. So we got her some clubs, and yeah, just get out, enjoy the game, a little travel, but nothing too crazy.
Well, Taylor, thanks for being on the show. Congratulations on winning, and we'll have the check presentation here a couple Fridays from now. Thanks for being on the Hole in One Show podcast. Thanks for being here.
I sure appreciate it. This is awesome. It was a blast.
All right, man. Thank you. All right, folks. Up next, it is the recap of the Leland member guest with head golf pro at Leland Country Club, Aaron Caverley, and my member guest weapon and best buddy, Reeves Dalton.
Any bank can tell you they have a rock-solid commitment to agriculture. Bell can prove it. To this day, every Bell Bank branch is partially built with rocks we've picked from our founder's farm. But our roots in ag have grown more than a few offices. They've shaped who we are and formed our entire approach to banking. Let us prove it to you as you grow your farm and prepare your legacy for the next generation. Bell Bank, committed to ag.
Golf to me is patience.
It's weird to say, but golf is life.
It is. It's the ultimate game of life.
It's an individual sport.
You have to put in a lot of work to get minimally better. And that's kind of the beauty of it. You come back to improve.
That's why I love golf, is just every shot is different.
That next round, that next shot, it could be that start of a story.
I don't even want to say a game. It's more than a game.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Hole in One Show podcast. Okay, now's the time to talk about the Leland member guest. I just got back. I played there Thursday through Sunday last week. It is member guest season around the country. And what me and my buddy Reeves were talking about while we were driving around in the cart, bouncing around, was this is the Middle-Aged Dad Bod Championships. It is probably the most serious amateur golf event that a lot of guys and gals will play in all year. And they work on their games. And for some, they also work on their handicap. And for some, that means to get their handicap wrong, because it's the Super Bowl. It is the Dad Bod Championships. And we had a lot of fun. It was Leland, Michigan. I played with my buddy Reeves Dalton, best bud from college. He summers up in Michigan, and it's about 45 minutes north of Traverse City. So flew into Traverse City and right to the practice round, and then we went into the tournament. Leland Country Club, which I'm sporting the T-shirt, really cool spot, 5,900 yard, par 71. And the best part of the whole place, and you can be on great ground, but it all comes down to people. And the best part of the whole place is the purest head pro there is that I know, Aaron Caverley. He's the head pro at Leland Country Club, and that's who I'd like to welcome in right now. He's kind enough to join us. I think you said you're on a golf court on Leland Country Club right now. What are you doing?
Yeah, Dave. Thanks for having me. I'm perusing the grounds at LCC right now. We got a double shotgun event tomorrow at 9 a.m., 1 p.m. Par 3 scramble. We jumble up all the holes and they get crazy. You're hitting from one fairway to 4 greens, things like that. So we got a big event tomorrow.
How cool is that? That's cool. Now, Aaron, talk about your background. How'd you make it to Leland, Michigan?
Yeah, so I went to Ferris in the PGM program, and I was out in Palm Springs. Did that for a few years. Ended up here at Leland. This was my first gig out of college. I've been here for 9 years now. Good for you.
Good for you. Talk about being a head pro at in Northern Michigan. I mean, how long's the season, and what do you do in the off season? The rumor on the street is you're a fantastic ice fisherman.
Yeah. So the golfing season at our specific club is very short. We're real busy for about 6 to 7 weeks. Maybe the last week of June through the middle of August is kind of our rock and roll time. That week of the 4th is real busy. And then we have kind of an out of town, everyone leaving, called the Barber Cruise. That's kind of the end of our show. Shoulder seasons, we're doing, 25 to 50 rounds a day. So it's pretty slow in the shoulder season. the lore of me being a prolific ice fisherman is true. Yeah.
Great augerman, right? Great. I mean, this picture is unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a real beauty. Yeah. So that's pretty much every day in the winter, either riding snowmobile or ice fishing.
So everyone listening and watching this podcast is massively jealous of you right now. You get to be a head pro for about 6 months a year, then you ice fish the rest of the time. I mean, how many people are going to sign up to go be in the PGM program at Ferris State after hearing that? That is awesome.
Yeah. We just give Ferris some free ad there.
That's right. That's right. Now let's talk about running the member guests at Leland. It kind of kicked off your summer, and you pretty much ran the whole thing almost by yourself. I mean, talk about being the head pro, running a member guest. It's obviously very high intensity for all the amateurs playing it. They want to play well. What is it like running a tournament like that?
Yeah, so most clubs, the member guest is kind of their big one. You're trying to put out all the stops. You got guests flying in from all over the country. I mean, we had folks from Florida, Fargo, Texas. I mean, we had guys from everywhere, California. I mean, so you're really trying to pull out all the stops for the guests. So I mean, there's both days were about 14-hour days for me. And then obviously we had a little fun at night, maybe too much fun. We'll
get to that. It was the planning. We were planning a 4-point comeback the night after the first round, so we'll get to that. But right now, it's also very important for your members, and I want to bring in one of your members, best buddy. We went to school together at TCU. He played football at TCU, and TCU, I was just mentioned, is very good at sports right now. Reeves Dalton, welcome to the Hole in One Show podcast, my friend.
It's been 3 years. I've been waiting to get on the Hole in One Show, and I'm finally here. So excited.
Reeves, we met in college, and I tell you what, this is a true friendship because I don't know if the computers don't work or what in Michigan, but if Aaron had something against me, but he put me at a +7 for this member guest. And I found this out in the airport in Minneapolis on the way there. So it wasn't like I could turn around and be like, sorry, Reeves. Reeves, you are a true friend, buddy. I appreciate you having me in as your guest. And let's talk about your background. How long have you been a member up at Leland?
So I started coming to Leland 10 years ago after meeting my wife. I believe I bought, it's interesting, at Leland Country Club, in order to be a member here, you have to own property in the county. Oh. And I bought a house here in Leland, Michigan, 5 years ago. So I think I became a member 4 years ago at Leland Country Club. And it's truly a special place. Like you said, it's the people. It's a easy but very difficult golf course. Yeah. You can make a birdie very easily, or you can make a double with how tight, and you really have to flight your ball down low because you have trees hanging over your head on the back nine, and a lot of iconic trees throughout the course.
Well, I think you've gotten a lot better. I mean, you're a 5 in the tournament. We'll talk about what your real handicap is, but you've gotten a lot better, I think, playing at Leland because it is such a tight golf course.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I started playing golf, Dave. We met in 2003, and I don't think golf was the first thing on my mind in college. Obviously, I had football, academics, in that order. I don't think there was anything else that mattered. But no beers or partying. But I don't think I picked up a golf club until I had to be 2010, 2009 time period.
Then you were all in, dude. You were all in.
Full send, lessons. I believe I started as a 16 handicap and obviously worked my way down, took a bunch of lessons, worked all the way up to a +1, but I've been fortunate enough to get ready for member guest season and get it all the way up to a 5 this year.
Let's get right into it. Match number 1. We played a +1 handicap and like a 4 handicap. So we were giving a +1 3 shots, and we had controversy right off the bat. And it just so happened that Taylor Swift was performing in Minneapolis, and this was a Taylor Swift controversy. Now listen to this, folks. Reeves and I had been talking about how we're going to play our best golf at this member guest, and there were 2 names that came up: Morgan Wallen, Taylor Swift. Don't say anything else. That's the music that's going to be playing in the cart. And so you're on the first tee, and you're kind enough to ask, hey, guys, do you mind if we listen to music? And I cannot believe what came out of his mouth. He said, you can play anything you want but Taylor Swift. You and I were speechless. I couldn't even believe it. Taylor's the biggest superstar in the entire world.
You know, I think it goes back to member guest etiquette. You don't put the music on the first tee box in these 9-hole matches.
Yep.
You have to wait until you're on the fairway after you're hitting tee shot. And that, you know, do you mind if we play music? And if anyone says no, they deserve to be probably kicked out of the tournament. Instant disqualification.
Instant.
However,
instant
disqualification. However, we waited to the fairway. We didn't do it on the tee box. Etiquette of a member guest. I've been in enough of these things. There's a few things you got to get straight.
So what?
Say you can play whatever you want, but do not play Taylor Swift.
No.
It was immediately on.
No.
So
we were so motivated out of the gates after hearing that. We played Morgan, that's fine, but we birdied 1, eagle 2, birdied 3. We were like going to win, 5 and 4. And then something crazy happened. These guys started playing some golf and they won the next 4 holes. And so what we did going to number 8, and we knew we were going to be polite, especially when we got up 3 through 3. We're not going to play Taylor. We'll listen to them unless we get down. And so we had a Snapchat emergency press conference going to the 8th tee box.
Okay, emergency press conference, right?
All square.
All square. We won the first 3 holes and they won the next 4, and then we just won number 8. Here it is.
Let's go.
Let's go.
And let's just say Taylor made an appearance on the 8th tee box, and then the rest is history. Reeves, take it away.
I mean,
dub win. We won one up because of Taylor.
Well, I think we went to Love Story or 22. I wasn't sure what we went to.
Both bangers. Both bangers. Doesn't matter.
Wrong selection.
Played it 10 as loud as can be. A lot of the 70-year-olds on the golf course were kind of looking at us weird, but we had to dig deep for that victory. We needed
a lot of volume. A lot of volume, not Valium, a lot of volume on Taylor for sure. Now, the second match, Reeves, you were hot. We were winning right from the get-go, and in fact, we actually played with a guy who invented a handicap system. I won't name his name, won't name the handicap system, but I think after that round, he knew that he had job security because he played Reeves Dalton and had to give Reeves shots, and Reeves shot like 4 under on 9 holes. We were collecting points.
And I mean, I'm going to take it. There's a lot of sand in my bag when I show up to Leland Country Club.
A lot of sand in the bag.
I mean, there's a lot of sand. And I get called the unfortunate word whenever you win a match and a member guest, the instant word out of the opponent's mouth is sandbagger.
Sure. No, you didn't play well. You're cheating. I mean, that's what they're saying. That's what they tell you.
That's what they're telling you after they lose. We call them sore losers. I don't know what to tell them other than they got vanity handicap. The guy played to a +1.
We call them sore losers in the sandbagging community.
Very sore losers. I mean, let's be honest. The guy was a +1. He probably can't break 80 at Colonial Country Club in the mud flat if he showed up.
Now, Reeves,
not 85.
Now we went from the highest of highs. Now I'm going to go into match number 3, and I'm not going to say the player's name. We'll just call him Joe, just like a random Joe. It doesn't, that's not his name, but it's Joe. Joe is.
I call him Meatball.
Yeah, he's one of your boys, right? He's like one of your guys up there in Michigan in the summer, and you play a lot of competitive golf with him. Let's talk about that third match.
Well, a little bit on Joe. Joe was my member guest at the Colonial Country Club member guest that we have every year, and he shot 81-80. He's been working on his handicap effectively. Great golfer here in Leland. However, when he showed up to Colonial, much different golf course, and he struggled a little bit. He definitely, every time I play him, he has his eyes set on us.
He's in your head. He is free rent in your head. He's in your kitchen breaking plates. You went to negative town that entire match. Joe was smoking us, making every putt, and Reeves was speechless. Taylor couldn't even bring us out of the depths. We tried. Trust me.
I think
didn't work.
We switched on the 7th hole, I believe, when we still had a chance, and we went to wrap. I mean, that's how desperate we were.
We were desperate.
It did not turn out well. I mean, credit to Joe. Even if we weren't playing with strokes, and I believe you had to give him 4 strokes aside, or 3 strokes aside.
Then he shoots
credit
4
to
under.
him, it did not matter.
Nope.
Yeah, he shot 4 under on his own ball. His partner I believe, drained 1 or 2 birdie putts to help him out. 7 under. You got to give them a lot of credit.
Hey, great guys, but when they got up, they started chirping. They were chirping you, and you were not talking back. And it was, you can go into those funks in a member guest when you're getting absolutely hammered, like losing on a 9-hole match. And these guys were all over you, man.
I mean, I really appreciate you, though, leaving me alone, because you knew I was fighting some internal demons. And I just
played terrible.
You just let me be.
I just played terrible.
You let me just walk down the middle of the fairway with fighting the inner demons. And you knew I was in a dark spot. I came into this thing trying to win with a 5 handicap, and credit to them. They just turned it up even more. So they knew that this match was for the round. So
we were 4 back going into day 2, and the night after the first round, they have this, what I now know is a formal welcome dinner. Thanks, Reeves. Just down the street from your house, this art building, beautiful. And we walk over there, and I'm wearing this T-shirt that I bought in the golf shop. Like, it's in the golf shop. And I'm wearing this convertible lid here, and that's why I'm wearing it here today. And I walk in with Reeves and Aaron, the pro. You meet me right at the door, and what do you tell me?
I just said, "Hey, nice T-shirt." That's all I said.
You came up and you go, T-shirt guy, cool. And I look around, there's like there's like sport coats. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I look at Reeves, I'm like, Reeves,
everywhere.
Reeves, you gotta let me know, man. You gotta let me know this is a formal dinner. He just let his man, because I let you hang on the 3rd match, then you let me walk into this formal dinner with a T-shirt on. So I'm sorry that I embarrassed the family, Reeves.
I mean, this is your 2nd time you've come. This is not a dress rehearsal. I got my handicap from a +1 last time to a 5. This was not a dress rehearsal. I mean, we were going for the win.
That's dedication.
It is dedication. Now, the night after the first round, we did a lot of planning, day 2, to make the 4-point comeback. 2-pound burgers at about 11 o'clock. That was probably not the best idea we ever had. And then the next morning we arrived, and one of the coolest gag gifts I've ever seen at a member guest. Aaron, you did it. Take it away.
Yeah, we had we filmed a Cart Barn Sports Report. We did a live Cart Barn Sports Report from Reeves from the bank.
From the bank. Yep.
And Reeves just went on a bag rant. He had sand in his bag. He had a sand anchor off the side of his boat. Whatever kind of sand he could think about, he was talking about it. So I graciously filled a bag full of sand, and I put it on the cart for him.
I thought it was an extra tea gift or something. I wasn't sure what it was right away, and I look in, it was literally bunker sand in a bag on his seat. Reeves, what did you think when you showed up and you had a sandbag on your seat?
I mean, being down 4, it's tough to be called a sandbag when you're down 4 points, but
true.
It's not the first time. It's probably not the last time. Unfortunately, make a lot of birdies, but also make a lot of doubles. You would think that we would succeed in this environment.
That's right. So we went into keep the second day explanation short. Long story short, we went into friend making mode. The match 4, they maxed us out. Great guys, met them, got all their background. Awesome. Can't wait to see them next year. And then the 5th match was truly the toilet bowl, and the give up factor was pretty low. Everybody just kind of was hanging out and excited to almost be done, because 5 matches, that's a lot for middle-aged dad bods. Reeves, what have you done since the tournament to recover?
There's been a lot of blue dolphins in my life. However, I learned a once valuable lesson. A member guest is a lot like fantasy football. When people start going through the rounds and telling you about every match,
yes,
it's a lot like the fantasy football team. When people start talking to me about the fantasy football team, after about 30 seconds, I start toning them out. And so I've learned my lesson after 15 years of member guest that you just can't talk about it.
Yeah,
no one cares.
That's right. Nobody wants the weather report. Well, exactly. Fellas, this was awesome to have you on. We had a great weekend. Aaron, you did a great job running the tournament, and the next thing is next day you got another tournament to run. So thanks for being on the show and driving around on your golf cart, and again, great job, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. We'll look forward to seeing you next year.
And shout out to the Cart Barn Sports Report. Aaron from the Cart Barn does sports reports. Like what? Is it 5 in the morning, right when you get there and you're starting to pull carts?
It just depends on what we got going on for the day. Like I haven't filmed today's yet, it's been a little hectic around this joint. We got staff not showing up, and we got 8 sims of walkers behind me right now. This place we're popping off. So.
Head pro season, late June for sure. Hey, Reeves, what's your next competition?
Next competition, club championship tomorrow down at Kingsley Golf Club.
Ooh.
Got a head-to-head match. It's a little bit different than other clubs. We do a season-long match play.
Nice.
And then I think the next tournament, member, and then I'm looking forward to showing up to the Fargo Open.
That's right.
And returning to North Dakota, where I do all my business, and really excited about getting up there.
Reeves Dalton is coming. This is your 3rd time, right? You are a net North Dakota Open former almost champion. We won't talk through that, but you've got another chance this August to win the net division of the North Dakota Open. So you will be at the Fargo Country Club, and you love that place, don't you?
Oh, I tell you what, that course is the most underrated course in America, especially that weekend in late August. You guys got the greens rolling, the just everything about it. It just screams summer, and the community gets involved, and I can't wait to get back.
Well, we can't wait to have you up here, Reeves. A lot of fun. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the great memories. I mean, that's what life's all about, making these memories. And we went a lot long today, but we had a lot to cover, and I appreciate you guys being on the show.
I appreciate it, Dave. Take care.
All right, fellas.
Thanks, buddy.
We'll talk to you. All right, folks. And that is episode 2 of 6 of the Hole in One Show podcast. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next week.